Morning guys, I'm Dave Canterbury with the Pathfinder School, and I've got a couple videos on my channel of how to make different types of pack frames from the natural environment. We've talked about how to make a Roycraft frame, and we've also talked about how to make a Seneca bentwood frame. What I want to show you today is a quick and simple way to make a frame off the landscape that requires very little work, very little modification, and very little notching and tying to get the job done. Stay with me. Our pack frames right here. Okay guys, so we brought our Y, actually Ys, we have two. We have one large and we have one smaller. And we brought these back to camp. So all we had to do was cut these two pieces. We really don't need a lot of cordage for this frame. We don't need to do a bunch of lashing. I'm going to use a white cord that's about, I don't know, 4.5 feet long, maybe, if it's that long, just to show you the knot and the things that I'm going to use this for and how I'm going to use it. It's got a knot tied in one end and a loop tied in the other with just an overhand knot. This could be anything. This could be paracord, this could be bank line, it could even be natural cordage if it had to be. It can be anything that's fairly strong, all right? Now, we don't need to do a whole lot of messing around with these sticks. All I'm going to do is just kind of get up here and cut the outer bark off of this. I'm not even going to worry about debarking this. Remember, this is supposed to be a quick and dirty frame. Alright, now I'm going to go down here on this frame and come up to about right here. I'm just going to put two plunge cuts in there into a Y, or a V I mean, excuse me, so that I have a V notch in both sides. It doesn't have to be very deep at all because it's just a spot for my cordage to set inside of, and I'm going to do that on both sides about equal distances on the frame. Make sure you guys can see all of this in the camera frame here. I think you can. Now we're going to take this one piece of cordage, and again, this is a really good thing to do if you're running low on cordage. I've ran it through this loop, and I'm going to put it back over the other side of this Y, just like this, so that this loop becomes a tensioning loop. And I want that tensioning loop to end up into a trucker's hitch when I'm done, so I'm just going to pull this together a little bit, come down here, and tie my trucker's hitch knot just like this. And like I said, I want that to end up about in the center, and there's a reason for that, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this tag end that you would pull through here to undo the knot, and we're going to put the other end of our fork in it just like this, and then we're going to pull it down tight on it just like this, and we're just going to tie a quick overhand stop knot in there just like that. Okay, once you've got that knot, that stop knot tied on there, you're going to turn this sideways, about like this, and then you're going to wind this up just like a windlass, going in this direction, making sure that you're locked into your V notches. And when you get that frame the width you want it, here, you just turn this sideways and let it lay there and lock. And you're going to put your load on top of that. Turn it to where it fits the best on the frame, and your load will be loaded right on top of this, and you can trim this down if you want to so it's not sticking out. Then everything is going to be connected here on the back side for the pack frame. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Now I've got this portion cut off so they're not sticking up out there, and now I could even cut this off if I wanted to, and it wouldn't be sticking down like that. I could cut that off easily to, you know, an inch or so long. So we'll just go ahead and trim this down too. Tie a quick overhand stop knot right here, just to keep this cordage from coming unraveled. And now what we've got is we have a pack frame that we can pack our load on top of. And this is the inside of the frame that goes against our back. This is the outside of the frame. Now we're just going to take our rope just like we would any other time, and we'll loop it through the top here and come over the top here like this to become our shoulder straps. Now one thing I'll tell you on this real quick, if you wanted to make future improvements, or you were sitting around camp, or you had more time, you know, this was meant to be a 5-minute deal. I got to make a quick pack frame, boom, done. You can do this in less than 5 minutes. You could notch this stick out so that your rope hangs in one spot really, really well. You could notch this out once you find out where this Y is going to lay, so it lays in there flat. But here's the thing, you're packing on top of this side, so it doesn't matter whether this locks in. The only thing that's going to do is give it side-to-side stability here by locking in. But once you get something tied down to this frame and held fast, this isn't going to move anyway. It's not going anywhere. So it really doesn't need to be locked in. It's exactly as simple as this, and it's a 5-minute deal. It takes very little cordage, very little notching, and you can get natural materials. 2 Ys is all it took to make this thing. You want this Y right here to be a little wider than you want it to begin with as far as the width of your body, so that you can draw it in on itself, and this becomes the locking device for the bottom. So your straps are going to rest against here instead of a crossbar, and because you have a triangle here that you've formed, you have a more stable base to put your gear on top of, so that it doesn't all just push through the triangle like a normal Roycroft frame does. Now I could go ahead and put toggles on this frame like a Roycroft or whatever if I wanted to, or like a Seneca, but really it's not necessary, to be flat honest with you, unless you're planning on using this thing a whole lot. And like I said, this thing is meant for an emergency quick pack frame. So what I would do is I would take this thing and just start wrapping it from the top, come here just like this and go through a loop to give myself a self-tightening loop right here at the beginning, just like this. Okay, so once I put that loop on there, I'm just going to put my load right in the center here, just like this, where it's resting right in that crux of those 2 diamonds that I formed. I'm going to come right down here and pull up on this, right where my notch is at, right there. Come right back up this direction and back around again, right through the frame. Again, this is where toggles will save you time instead of having to wrap the frame. But when you're trying to make something quickly and in a hurry, you don't want to mess with that. Come down to this other side and lock it in the same way and back up. You really don't have to get too crazy with this thing to get this load locked on here. And the next one, I would just bring it around right through the middle here, right to that Y, right here. And I'd come in between there just like this. And in between this one, just like this. And you can see, you know, I could have trimmed this branch right here closer. It's got a couple little stick outs on it right here on the sides. That's not going to affect me any, because I'm never going to feel that. I'm not worried about it. Okay, once I've come through the back, I'm just going to come straight around the front side here. Come in here, pull this down just like that, right to the middle, and I'm coming over that area where I've got that stick out, and I'm just going to half hitch that thing off a couple of times, just like that, and come up here and just tie my loose end, just like this. Quick lark set with a half hitch, done. That load's secure. Now, right here's my strap. Okay, so when I've got this done, it's really no different than what a Roycroft pack frame would be. I just put these over the top of my shoulders just like this and hang the pack over the top, just like this. Come around right here through the uprights. Pull it up, snug it. Whoop, lost myself there. Pull it up and snug it, just like that. Tie it off around my waist. It's something I can get undone pretty quickly, especially in the wintertime, in case I fall into water or ice or something like that and I want to get out of this pack. I want some kind of a bow knot in there or a quick release knot. And now I'm ready to go. And I'm not feeling any part of this frame on my body at all. Nothing. In fact, the only thing I do feel is a little bit of that rope down there at the bottom. And that's going to be flexible and have a lot more give in it than a solid piece of wood would have. So that makes it pretty comfortable. So that's a quick and dirty double Y pack frame. I've never seen this thing introduced or shown anywhere on the internet, in any books or anywhere else. I totally made this up in my own head. Now, does that mean that 10 years from now I won't find it somewhere in a book? Not necessarily, because somebody could have thought of it before. That's the thing about bushcraft and woodcraft. There's not too many things that are brand new. But I think this is going to be new to most of you, so I hope you enjoy it. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, and for our business. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.